Completing the square is something that we will do frequently in this class, depending on what chapter we're in. We're going to do it in this chapter. We're going to do it in chapter 2. Definitely again in chapter 5. And we'll find other places to do it. And we want to turn x squared, the coefficient of x squared has to be 1, plus bx plus 1. I want to add some number, which I don't know what that number is. I want to add some number to make it what we call a perfect trinomial square. It's going to be x either plus or minus some number, the quantity squared. That's what a perfect trinomial square is. Perfect square. And that's what, if you remember, the standard form of the circle. The standard form of a circle is a perfect trinomial square added to a perfect trinomial square is equal to the radius squared. So these are trinomial squares. What is the correct quantity? Well, the correct quantity, or the formula, which I'm not going to develop in this class, is going to be b over 2, the quantity squared. Take the coefficient of x, divide it by 2, and square it. So that's your formula. So for example, if I have x plus 2, and I want to turn it into a perfect trinomial square, b, I would take b divided by 2 and square it, which is 2 divided by 2 squared, which is 1. So that says if I were to add 1, this would become the square root of x squared is x, the center sign is plus, the square root of 1 is 1, the quantity squared. Perfect trinomial square. Hopefully you remember at least a little of it. Let's do it again. I'm going to take b over 2 and square it, which is 10 negative divided by 2 squared, which is negative 5 squared, or 25. Now that says if I add 25, this turns into x, square root of x squared is x, center sign is minus, square root of 25 is 5, the quantity squared. Third example. I have a 9. I'm going to take b divided by 2 and square it. This is 9 divided by 2 squared, which is 81 divided by 4. So if I add 81 divided by 4, this turns into square root of x squared is x, center sign is plus, square root of 81/4 is 9 over 2. It's the thing that I squared, the quantity squared. And that's a perfect trinomial square. So what's the process? The process is this. We take something which is in general form, and we're going to turn it into standard form. Now, why would we want to do that? Well, the primary reason why we would want to do that is I can graph it. I now know what the center and the radius is. I don't know what the center and the radius is otherwise when I'm presented in this form. Only way to get it. So, what's the steps? Step 0. Make sure the coefficients of x squared and y squared are 1, if not, divide it out. That's what we had to do with the one that was in standard form because the coefficients of the parentheses weren't 1. Move the constant to the right-hand side. group the x's together and the y's together. You complete the square on the x's and add that number, and this is important, add that number to both sides. You complete the square on the y's and you add that number to both sides, and then you can rewrite it in standard form. Those are the 5 steps to completing that problem.